Hello guys, my name is Sagi and this is my Honor of Kings hero tier list for each role from Clash Lane all the way to Roman in Honor of Kings. Let's go. Okay, so let's start off with the Clash Lane. The usual favorites in tournaments, peak tournament, and also top tier games, we always have Dharma and Mayin. Insane setup from Dharma, multi-man engages even when you're behind. If you slip up, you get engaged by a Dharma, 3 to 4 men onto the wall, you immediately lose the game or get turned on. For Mayin, similar situation but more on single bursts with the AoE combos, with the high damage output. So these two heroes, although they take time to practice, they take time to master, definitely top tier heroes in the Clash lane. But then if you want simpler heroes with strong laning phase, lesser mechanics to pick up, there's always Byron, there's always Sun Tze. Strong laning, strong sustain. Both these heroes have immensely strong early to mid game with their kits. Byron, a lane bully, Sun Tze, very capable of fighting almost any matchup in the Clash lane, aside from Miyue with his physical defense passive. And also, he has set sail. He can travel around the map with the boat, right? So, definitely one of the strong early to mid game tempo picks here. So, if you don't like tempo, you don't like early game, you want to play the side lane, there's still Charlotte as well. Although she's not so strong in the early game, but once she hit that 2 to 3 items, the Pure Sky, the Axe of Torment, the Frostguard's Embrace, she's gonna be a menace in the side lane, capable of a lot of mobility, dashing in and out of the side lane and going towards the back line. And she's a 1v1 god, so definitely something to pick up as well. For old school favorites, Elaine, this hero has been here for the majority of Honor of Kings Global. Although he has been nerfed several times, but still one of the go-to picks as well for the late game. Easy access to the back line, but hey, even if you have the Dolia, that's even better because you get double ulti Death at Sunset towards the backline. So still a hero to pick, just weaker early in general. And our new hero here, which is Fateh, for me, he's quite the question mark actually. He's quite the question mark. For me, it really depends on the player's capability of understanding this hero, when to engage and when to be the cleanup crew. So far, I've seen the pseudo tank build with the Pure Sky and Axe of Torment into the regular bruiser build, 2 to 3 items in terms of tank. He is performing very consistently in high tier games. In low tier games where players do not really understand the spell kit, he's quite underrated as of now. So you will definitely need some time to actually practice this hero. Okay, so for the jungle, there are few styles of jungling. There is the carry jungle style, which involves Jing and Luna and Pei. If you're someone who loves fancy mechanics, if you're someone who loves fast hand mechanics, Jing and Luna definitely go-to heroes for you. If you're someone who likes tempo jungling, you can definitely opt for the Pei, because Pei has one of the fastest clear speed and one of the fastest mobility around Heroes Gorge in Honor of Kings, so definitely a very good pickup. But one thing about Pei, if you fall behind in tempo, he tends to scale out of the game very fast if you happen to die or like drop tempo somewhere around the map. So definitely you have to practice around his micro mechanics and his macro skills. Aside from tempo, if you want to play some tempo jungler that revolves around being tanky, there's always the Ogrun. I feel like Ogrun, even though after the nerfs, he's not as strong as when he was first released, he's still one of the best junglers right now. Easy to pick up, strong skill set, built-in execute and lifesteal. This man has it all in Heroes Gorge in Honor of Kings. So definitely Ogrun is still up there in the list. If you want simpler heroes, you can opt for the Dun. Still, very simple, goes in, goes out, strong passive, high healing, good clear speed, is the tank of the team. But one thing's for sure, if you get outscaled by junglers such as the Luna, such as the Jing, such as the Pei, you're gonna have a tough time in the late game, right? So still, that is why I put him further back in the list actually. If you like heroes like Assassin, simpler assassins, there's still the Lam. For me, all these seasons, Lam is the easiest assassin to pick up. Easy the access to the backline, easy threat towards any marksman who has no mobility or has already expanded the mobility. One ulti goes in, dashes out, dashes in, gets killed easily. So still one of the top favorite picks here in the list. And of course, Agudo, for me, hidden OP, very underrated, low play rate, but still one of the favorite junglers so far as a blind pick in the pro scenes, in KPL, in MKL, and IKL. This hero has been consistently showing that it is one of the best picks so far. And that's for jungle. Actually, if it's for jungle, right, I feel like lots of the junglers are all playable. It depends on the player's mastery instead of what I suggested here. But still, all these 7 heroes here that I suggested all are top favorites or like meta picks. Other junglers, yes, definitely still playable. Depends on your own mastery and your own understanding of the game. Now, for the mid lane. If we talk about mid lane, Mai Shiranui is always going to be there. Mai Shiranui, across all the seasons, insane setup, insane mobility, can play the early game with her ganks and mobilities, can play poke with her spell 2 Kachosen, can also set up multi-man engages with her insane knock-up combo. So this hero, Mai Shiranui, is definitely a player's favorite, a mage player's favorite if you happen to like all these flashy engage styles and mobility style, right? But let's say if you're on towards like the carry style, right? There's always Gademo and Nua here, artillery mages that does a lot of damage towards the mid-late stages of the game. They scale well and they can counter pesky backline heroes such as the Hou, such as the Lady Sun, all these heroes that tend to have very long range, right? So these two heroes, yep, still very good. And then if you like to play the control mage style, there's always the staple Yixing, simple, easy, fast wave clear, built-in Destiny as his passive, and also a multi-man engage with the world is my board as his ultimate, right? And if you want even simpler mid lane, there's Lady Zen. You just have to press spell 2, bounce around, build items such as the Venomous Staff, make sure that you're providing enough room, enough assistance for your team with the kit. So for me, Lady Zen, right? She is simple, but she is very crucial in every team composition because she's so easy to play. You can build semi-tank, you can provide zone control, you can build items to support your team in terms of all these healing reductions, slows. So definitely one of the picks as well. And following, Princess Frost is also very good, but the only downside of Princess Frost compared to Lady Zen is that your spell 2 accuracy is very hard to land compared to Lady Zen. So spell 2, the Frigid Prison, I think it's called Frigid Prison. Technically, the Freezing Circle is a very tough skill to land if your enemy has a form of dash or has very good awareness. And lastly, controversial, but I do feel like Ziya is one of the top picks here because we are in a meta where mid lane is not the main focus, right? So Ziya's passive, allowing your teammate to level over level 15 is very crucial towards the mid lane stages of the game. So definitely, I feel like in terms of range, in terms of the passive here, Ziya deserves a spot in the mid lane. You may question like, oh, what about simple heroes like Daji's or heroes such as Kongming? Those heroes are good, but as I said, this tier list is only for the meta heroes. Any heroes that you master by yourself, it's all viable. I'm not the one to say it's not viable, so it's just something for you to refer to. For me, these 7 heroes in the mid lane, jungle, and clash lane is quite standard as of now. Okay, moving on towards farm lane, the marksman lane. So for me, right, Arlie and Long, both still very OP, overpowered. Arlie still one of the best marksmen, similar to Mai Shiranui, but in the farm lane. High mobility, high skill ceiling, but very difficult to pick up. But once you pick up this hero, she's absolutely worth the practice and time you invest towards her. One of the best marksmen so far in the game. For Long, you know it. 3+1 combo, slamming down on any squishy, instantly sending back to base once you have 3 items here. So Long definitely one of my personal favorites as well. You have the ultimate to get yourself out of sticky situations. You are very, very versatile on this hero. The only thing bad about Long is that he tends to lose lane to most of the meta marksmen that I'm going to show you next. So next hero will be Marco Polo. Marco Polo, similar to Long, has a lot of counters in lane. Very weak early game until he hits that 2 to 3 item power spike. Once he has Spark's Forge and Doomsday and a Boots, that's where you start ramping up in terms of your capability in the mid game, right? You tend to be one of the strongest marksmen in the side lane along with Arlie. Marco Polo and Arlie are the few marksmen in the game that can actually play side lane. So this hero, very good in 1v1s, very good in ultimates to catch people off guard. One of the playmaking marksmen alongside Arlie. Next, we have the best blind pick in the game, Di Renjie. Why is he good? Immensely strong early to mid game, very, very strong laning, has spell 2 to bail him out on sticky situations. So this hero is very good, but the only down part about this hero is that he scales very off towards the later stages of the game. So you have to end the game around 12 minutes or 13 minutes with this hero. Next, we have the new release, Chano. Very recent release. This hero is very, very strong in lane. He technically counters most of the marksmen in this list with his strong laning. So you see Arlie, Long, Marco Polo all gets countered by Chano. Chano's laning is insanely strong. But the downside of this hero, lacks mobility like a dash. So that's the thing about this hero. But yet again, he packs a lot of punch when he gets the 3 item in terms of crit, like Shadow Ripper, Eternity Blade, and Daybreaker. So one of the few heroes to play as well if you like late game marksman. Then we have the new introduction towards the list, Flowborn Marksman. Same thing, but her laning is not strong. Her DPS with her spell kit is very insane once you hit 3 items. But for me, this hero is about A plus tier like that because you need a lot of mastery and awareness because she still lacks a solid disengage as a dash like that. Because, okay, Marco Polo has a dash, Long has ultimate, Arlie has all her spell dashes, Channel similar but has strong laning. Her only form of mobility is, of course, your common spell Flash and your spell 2, which relies on enemy units. So it's very reactive. So this pick, you have to put a lot of focus and pressure in learning this positioning here. And lastly, Lady Sun. Strong laning, high burst, very strong early towards late game, but it relies you to learn a lot about this hero in terms of like spell combos, how to kite, how to play certain lanings against Arlie, because contrarily believe, Arlie gets countered by Lady Sun in the laning phase if the Arlie Sun is really good. But still, Arlie is very broken right now once she hits the Doomsday, so Lady Sun players, you tend to fall very easily towards like assassins, very, very squishy, very, very volatile pick. So this is my marksman list. If you ask like why Hoi, Alessio, Luban, all these picks are not viable even though they have like a lot of damage, it's because yes, they have a lot of damage, but still, the core problem about these marksmen is that they don't have mobility. No mobility requires you to have a support like Zhang Fei, or like Lian Po, or like even Liang, for example, to actually peel you off of sticky situations. And in solo queue, in solo rank, you tend to not have any of these assistants if your roam is not so smart, right? So if your roam is not so smart, playing the Arlie, Long, Marco, Direnji is always the go-to picks. Alright, we have the roamers. If you're a roamer fan, Dia is always up there, very broken, infinite scaling, can steal money away from your opponent, can scale with the money stolen or earned by her to fund into her healing ultimate and damage, and her laning phase is immensely strong. Her capability in making plays in the early game with her spell 2 CC is insane as well. This pick, triple S tier, pick or ban, definitely worth to practice and learn. And then Yu Huan. I'm not trolling, guys. This pick, if you watch KPL, if you play the Chinese server, if you look at all these peak level tournaments, or even like higher level tournaments in MKL, PKL, IKL, anywhere in the world, Yu Huan roam is definitely a thing. Strong healing in the mid-late stages of the game, has the ultimate to bail her out of situations so she can frontline and check vision for the team, right? So definitely, try it out if you haven't. It's very easy to play, and it's very rewarding. And then if you're not a fan of these like utility healing supports, there's the traditional Zhang Fei and Lian Po. We don't have a lot of these tank supports in the global server, but still, these two tank supports have a very high pick and ban rate in tournaments and high level games, so definitely it's worth practicing and going back to. Other tanks are still lacking a bit in terms of consistency. Dong Huang, for example, is not as great as Liang. Liang here, strong laning, good early to mid game, has the ultimate to really suppress down enemy from afar. So definitely Liang is up on this list as well. Sakir for me, very mobile, very proactive type of roamer here, has a lot of healing, has the spell 1 to knock up enemies, and for the main reason, he has a lot of mobility, one of the strongest laning heroes to match up with Dia in this patch. And for me, Mozi as well. A lot of people don't like this pick as a roamer, but still, this pick, if your spell 2 is very consistent, is one of the best roamer picks to counter healing supports like these. Because one cannon blast from this Mozi immediately can execute these pesky roamers in the mid-late stages of the game. So other roamers such as the Ming, such as Dong Huang, all these are definitely playable. It's just, as I mentioned, this entire list, from Clash to Roam, it's only representing what I think about the meta. It doesn't mean that you should 100% play this list, because I feel like any hero in Honor of Kings is all playable depending on your mastery and depending on your understanding of the game, as long as you pick correctly. If you pick Hoi into 5 assassins or like 5 dives, that's up to you, you know, that's your fault, not mine, right? So definitely every hero is playable. It's just that this list is what I churn out to really assist you guys in playing better Honor of Kings. And that is all for our tier list video. Do comment down on what you want to see next. My name is Sagi. Do drop a follow and subscribe if you like this content. See you guys in the next video.